Welcome back to Bespoke PC and Tech. As always, I am John, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about Planar IEMs. These are the S12s from Letshuoer, and I also have the Xuanwu Planar IEMs from TRN. Now, these Xuanwus are the cheapest planars on the market so far, coming in at about $30. There's different retailers online. You can find them on AliExpress, Amazon I believe carries them, and some chi-fi/hi-fi retailers, depending on where you want to buy them from. The S12s typically are, I think, around 150, but you can get fairly good deals on them. You can bring it down to as low as, like, I think 120 right now. So what's the difference between a planar driver and a single dynamic driver, you might ask? Well, it comes down to sound reproduction and frequency response. Planar drivers typically have an easier time reproducing sound when you have quick changes in sound frequency, such as going from high in the treble area down into the sub-bass region or mid-bass. An example would be in-game, you hear a grenade go off, or you hear gunshots out of nowhere. These are going to be able to retrieve that detail much more effortlessly than a single dynamic driver typically. But it also depends on, the implementation of both of those drivers, if there's balanced armatures in conjunction with those drivers. But talking about the S12s in particular, I've found these to be a little bit hard to drive. And what I mean by that is you have to crank up the volume in order to maintain a good listening volume with these IEMs. And that's just a side effect of the planar driver itself. It actually requires a little bit more voltage in order to maintain those sound levels. And I haven't mentioned this in previous videos, but I do use a Focusrite Solo interface. And that's what I use for my microphone and any of my headphones that I plug into my PC. So the S12s in particular are not a very warm set. They're actually a little bit lighter, I find, a little bit more airy in that regard. And if you look online, there's plenty of audiophile reviewers that hold these IEMs in high regard. And I would say that these are a little bit more geared towards music. They provide a really good listening experience if you like to listen to different types of genres. These are a really good set. As far as playing games, the soundstage is probably mid to wide, but a little bit more on the mid side. It's not going to be you're not going to get a lot of data retrieval, let's say in a first-person shooter, where you can hear a player across the map. These are really more suited for something like Valorant or CSGO, where you're in close proximity and you want to hear other player footsteps, like on the other side of a wall or behind a door, stuff like that. These aren't really going to be an IEM for Fortnite or Apex or anything like that. I mean, it's still good because you do have close quarters combat, but you want to be able to hear other teams on the other side of the map. You're not going to want to be just limited to close quarters sound, basically. But overall, these are a good IEM set if you're wanting something for a game where you want to get immersed. Actually, I find that these are a good set If you play racing games, or you play something like Watch Dogs, or you play something like Control, stuff where you really want to immerse yourself into the game, these are a good set. The Xuanwus from TRN, if I get them in frame, I find are a better set, specifically for first-person shooters. These have a much wider soundstage than the S12s, and I think that can be attributed. Let me move that. That can be attributed to the balanced armatures that they implemented, or I shouldn't say implemented, I use that word a little too much, that they put in conjunction with the planar drivers. Those handle more of the upper treble range. That way these can really be used more for the sub-bass and mid-bass region. The planar driver, I mean, and these have much better bass response. This is a little bit more rumbly. It's actually really well suited for electronic music, hip hop, R&B, stuff like that. I mean, if you want to get something for your listening pleasure as far as music and video games, that's where these are going to be more tailored for. These still give you a good amount of immersion, but these are my favorite set of planars specifically for first-person shooters. So overall, if you're in the market for an IEM, I would definitely recommend trying out a planar, whether it be your first set, or you already have some other cheap sets and you want to try something different. In my opinion, planar IEMs are the way to go. They just have really good data, good detail retrieval, and I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed if you go with the S12 or one that's similar. But in my recommendation, I would say pick up a set of Xuanwus, especially if you're going to be playing first-person shooters or any type of competitive gaming. These are the way, honestly. Just make sure if you pick these up, get yourself a good set of aftermarket cables. You can get away with the tips that come in the box, but what I would recommend is get yourself the Q1 Max from QKZ. These really look, sharp on these IEMs, and the fact that you get the interchangeable tips, that's just a plus. The tips from the S12s actually really work well, but if you want an aftermarket recommendation, get yourself some W1s from SpinFit.